The following podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your doctor before beginning any diet or fitness regimen.
This is the Bunzarelli Show.
All right, this is the Bunzarelli Show. My name is Joe. We haven't done one of these keto shows in a while. I've had one of these in the can, actually, for a little bit, but I kind of hit a wall with my weight loss. So I tried something different. I did some research and decided I was going to try an egg fast. And we recorded this on May 13th. At that time, I weighed 191.2. I did a 5-day egg fast. I weighed myself after the egg fast, and I came in at 189.2. So that's about 3 pounds I lost in 5 days. So can't complain about that. But yeah, me and Bob started talking about that, and then we started doing our usual, just talk about keto stuff we like to eat. So hope you enjoy. I'm where I was when we last spoke. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I can't seem.
All right. So you kept off. You lost. You lost a lot the first week. The second week, none, and then you just sort of stayed there.
Yeah, and then at times I cheat, I go up a little bit, and then it comes right back down. Do you know what I'm saying? Now there was the discussion of like, and there's a stuff out there with the drinking, like there's a drinking pause, it, this and that. One thing I've noticed about the drinking is it's still getting easier. Like it's easier and easier the more time that passes. Because a lot of the slip-ups with drinking was like, it wasn't even like, oh, I need a drink. It was more like, you know, after a baseball game, I'm like, we're going to Applebee's. And I'm thinking like, really? I can't have one beer in Applebee's? Like, you know, or it didn't become one beer. It was like 3. But I'm like, yeah. It was that kind of thing. Like, really? I have a beer and the whole diet goes, but... And I don't really know how much truth is to it, but the thing is as more time passes, like now I haven't drank for a while. Well, no, I'm sorry. That was 3 days ago. So, you know, even 3 days, I had like a little anxiety kind of stress thing. Had my one drink and I was like, okay, I'm good. Just took the little edge off, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nothing like.
Well, it's good. It got you out of, it's because.
I think it's the habit.
It's the habit. Yeah. Just like, yeah. And it's slowing that down.
Yeah.
Was a plus if nothing else comes of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and not that like the anxiety's there because I need a drink. I just had to have anxiety about something else. And I was like, let me just calm down real quick. I'm wound up about something. You know what I mean? Which isn't the healthiest thing. I'm just saying situationally, that's what I did. But that's getting further and further between two. So that's cool.
And I did that, by the way, because we when we talked about how he said like I quit drinking when we did it, or we quit drinking because I was doing it with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
When I say quit drinking, I think I talked to you about this before, but when I say I quit drinking, I mean like I was. You know what I mean? And I think I stopped fully for a little bit, but I know I stopped because I was drinking a lot. So I definitely stopped that. And I'm not, you know, I still stick by like if you're on a plateau or something and trying to figure it out, like it seems like drinking could be pausing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do remember specifically because I was so used to grabbing a drink if I needed one, being worried, being worried myself about like, all right, well, what happens if like I have a panic attack or something hits? So I remember always keeping something in the house that was keto for that reason.
Yeah. And
like the few times something really, you know, real bad day at work or something, I'd grab a drink real quick. But then you realize, like you're seeing, when you're like, okay, you know what, it wasn't as big of a deal as I thought because now they got a few days, you know, you're out of the habit.
Yes.
But going out and doing social things, like you said, like going out to Applebee's with, you know, guys after the game, you know, it's like, how do you not have a draft beer there? I could completely see that.
Yeah, and the baseball. So, well, you know which one was a big habit breaker that I was very happy with because I was like, okay, look, so I did St. Augustine, and then the week later was my son's first communion. So, you know, family gathering, you know, by the pool. Like the church thing's over, so we're by the pool hanging out, adult conversation going on. And they're like, Joe, the 0-carb beers. I'm like, I'm good. And but I was able to interact with people and function. And I think sometimes you get it in your head, you can't function or have good conversation or have fun because you need to, you know, I'm just saying like I'm breaking the associations of certain things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is everything's still been positive growth, which is great. And also the great habits with the keto stuff because that's still not gaining weight. And we'll talk about that. But what I am doing is, so what I've decided to do to break the plateau, because I did research, and I was like, why don't I try this egg fast thing? Let me just try it.
Nice.
Because I've heard about it. You actually mentioned it once because I did mess with the intermittent fasting, and that was something I'd mess, and that's a good habit too. The reason why that's a good habit is it makes you stop eating overeating.
Yes.
It teaches you those habits. Like, okay, 6 o'clock, if I want to eat at 11 o'clock tomorrow, or no, it's at 7. It was like, okay, I better stop at 7 o'clock because I want to have 11 o'clock, my first break of work. I want to be able to eat then. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
So it was like,
anything that makes you more conscious of stuff.
Yeah.
Is a good thing. So it's like, that's why I threw it in there. It's like to, all right, let me throw this in there to change it up. And because, like most people, I'm sure, is my bad eating would happen at night or even just overeating, even if I was sticking with the diet.
Yeah.
Because I'm still a firm believer of go ahead and overeat in the beginning on keto.
Yeah.
But so if you stop eating, at 8 or 9 o'clock, now I'll do an extra meal at like 10, 11 o'clock. I should get back on intermittent fasting myself.
Yeah, it's good too. And the egg fast kind of like digs into that stuff too, because some of the certain rules.
I did the egg fast myself when I hit a plateau. So it was funny because you mentioned it the other day and I forgot all about it. I was like, there's probably one official one, but like everything else, there's all different versions. What's the one that you're doing that you looked into?
I looked up a bunch of them, and a lot of this stuff is consistent, except the cheese thing's a little different, which I'll explain to you. So it says, eat at least 6 whole eggs a day. Let me read the whole list, and I'll go down to everything, okay? So eat at least 6 whole eggs per day. Tablespoon of fat for every egg. 1 tablespoon of full-fat cheese for every egg. It says use high-quality eggs, fats, and cheeses. Eat an egg within 30 minutes of waking up. Eat egg fast meal every 3 to 5 hours. Use spices or seasonings. Use keto sweeteners with limits. Avoid sugar alcohols. Enjoy zero-carb drinks like coffee and tea, okay?
I didn't do the 30 minutes part of it, but I don't remember if that was what I looked into or not, or I just decided not to. But, I did that.
Well, it's kind of like what I was doing for intermittent fasting, but it's backwards because it's saying, no, eat right away in the morning, but stop eating 3 hours before bed. So it's like, you're still cutting it off earlier. But because last time I ate was like 5 because I did the, at the time of this recording, I recorded I went out, saw Doctor Strange with Kaim. We did the show. He bounced, and then I had to get ready for baseball. So I like ate an egg. Like I had like the last 2 hard-boiled eggs, threw the 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, ate those, and went to baseball. Nice. And I was going to bring a piece of cheese with me. I forgot it, but I'm fine. And that's funny because like I watched a YouTube video of people doing it because I just wanted to see what was, is this somebody that like, not the keto channel you got me on, it was some random one I just found. But like, let me see exactly. Like I was trying to get a clarification. And they're like, the first thing they're like, okay, it's day 1. I can't believe how hungry I am. And I'm like, I'm fine. Like I was fine.
That's a huge part of it. That's why I stuck with it, even though I stopped losing weight, because up until the last 6 months, I was sticking with keto and I wasn't much thinner than I was before it, but I wasn't huge like I was. You know what I mean? But I wasn't, you'd think like, because I tell people like, oh yeah, I've been on it for years. And they're like, well, shouldn't you be a little bit thinner? It's like, but I wasn't eating so much. I wasn't making a pig out of myself. And I wasn't depriving myself of anything. I never felt like that. Just like you said, like I'd forget the snack. I'd be okay.
Yeah.
I'd be a little bit late to lunch. Like if I was on a work call, I was on a work call before like 11:30, 12 o'clock, or whenever I was thinking of lunch. All I was thinking of was food while I'm on that call because I want to get off the phone.
Yeah.
And now I look down and I'm like, oh, I better eat now or I'm not going to, it's going to be too late or something,
Yeah.
Like I forget about it.
So one of the things it says like eat the tablespoon of cheese for every egg. And I'm like, okay, so sometimes said 1 tablespoon of cheese. And then there was other ones that said 1 ounce of cheese. Okay. Which is probably around the same, like those little 1 ounce Tillamook's I got.
Yeah, it is the same.
Would fit a tablespoon. So, yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go buy the 1 ounce. And one of them said, for every egg, but cap it off at 4. So I'm like, you know what? That's a healthy enough roll. If you tell me I could do 6 cheese sticks, I'm gonna do it. So it's almost better to cap it off at 4. So I had the cheese omelet this morning. What I did do was, because it said like cook the eggs and 2 tablespoons of fat, I didn't do that. And you tell me about this. I don't trust that I'm getting all the butter out of the pan with my eggs. Right. Okay. So
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So I use pan spray just because we have pan spray to like for my son and everything to make his breakfast real quick in the morning. So I made the omelet with pan spray and just made a 2 tablespoon bulletproof coffee. You know what I mean? Like I know I definitely have my butter right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I guess having
I'm with you in theory, but I have a different approach.
Okay.
Is I'd put more butter in it than they'd say. Like if I was worried that I wasn't getting it all, I'd just be heavy-handed with it. You know what I mean?
Which normally I would be.
Just make sure I got extra. But you could tell because I actually did it as a test. I've just seen all right, how many, I forget what the number was because that sucks. It'd be a perfect time to tell it would have made it worthwhile. But I actually did a test because I was eating eggs a lot. I did that for a while. It was awesome because I love eggs. I was egg fasting before I knew it was a thing. I just like having, especially now that I work from home, I have scrambled eggs for dinner all the time.
Yeah.
But I just kept putting butter in to see like, all right, yesterday I did 2 tablespoons. Let me do 3, whatever it was. When I hit the too much to where the scrambled eggs couldn't soak them up, you knew it. You know what I mean? And you could tell by the eggs and you could tell by the pan. So like the eggs are soaking up most of it because you would know when they're not. But just because like to be safe type deal, if I had to put 2 tablespoons in with my eggs, I always just put in like 2.5. Just like, okay, let me just put in a little extra to be safe.
Normally I would do, but what I like about the egg fast is also because I did the math like really quick. Put it all in, said, okay, like 6, I put like, 6 eggs, 2 butters, 4 mayonnaise. Like I thought of lunch, dinner, everything. You know what I mean? I added up all, and the cheese and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, this is 900 calories. Not even like 1,000. So you got that working with you too. It's like low calorie. And I see why it works because it's like, because it's filling stuff. So you're not, but it's just, what I like is it's just a simple, see, the thing with where I mess up with keto is I start doing my bullshit with it again. And I'm like, oh, I could fit in a couple more almonds. I could do this. And I'm still keto. I'm still keto, but I'm not getting that habit of like, this is where I always mess up. It's like, what could I get away with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the wrong approach. That's what I know is messing me up.
You've been going, I don't know if you've been going long enough to where, like how I say, don't worry about overeating. I don't know if you should be worrying about that or not. I could see why you are because you're at a plateau.
Yeah.
But you're still, I'm trying to say is like, are you still feel like you're suffering by eating keto versus eating regular?
No, not at all.
You're suffering. Oh, okay.
No.
And in that case, then yeah, maybe, cut back on, because I cut back on stuff too, because it's not just like I eat all I want because you can, get bigger on it too and everything.
Well, there's a couple things too. So you had said like, well, could it be muscle you're putting on? And I'm like, well, I'm not hitting the gym hard, but you know what I am doing? I'm hitting that boxing game hard. Okay. And that boxing game, like it is arm stuff. And I'm thinking like, maybe I am doing a number just because I'm working out my body in a way it's not used to be working out. And I'm not saying about the cardio burn, but I'm thinking like the muscle burn. I'm just assuming I'm doing cardio doing this boxing.
Yeah, no, yeah, I definitely think so. And you can tell that like, how are your clothes fitting? And how are you feeling? Like, are you feeling? Cause
I feel better. I feel thinner. My wife said I could see it. Like I could see it, you know. And
then I definitely think because boxing, if you're sore after something, then you're putting on muscle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you're sore after that. So you're putting on some weight, and you're eating now. Now think of this too: the amount of calories that you're eating now, versus if you were trying to eat that on a traditional diet, you would never be able to do it. So regardless of why are you not losing the weight or not, Well, if you just did calorie counting, you couldn't do as good on a regular diet as you're doing now anyway.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do 900 on a regular. Yeah.
So this plateau is happening either way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or this weight loss stall, which is happening because if you were to, you can't say that, okay, well, if I was eating, that many calories of rice, I would have been better off. That's not.
Yes. Yeah.
The case. So if you can get away with eating the amount of calories you're eating now and be happier on keto, that's a real big thing. I wonder if it's you have to drink more water or something to get stuff to move around.
Dad actually brought that up when he was here. So he's like, wow, you're really, just because I like, I still like the idea of like, I'm hanging out and cracking a can. Even right now, I'm drinking a Polar, which is like a LaCroix. It's nothing. You know what I mean? It's just carbonated water, right? But I was hitting a diet sodas kind of heavier than I ever have, because I was just replacing the idea of beer or just something.
Oh, yeah.
Like the drink, or like it was like, the one thing, because I wasn't really drinking that much diet soda compared to like drinking beer and stuff. And even at work.
But it's still a lot. Once you stop drinking soda,
yeah,
you see like I have to force myself to go grab a tea or a water or something, because I'm not drinking stuff all day long. But when we were drinking Coke Zeros, we were just pounding them all day long.
Yeah, and that I think that was because I was actually drinking.
That has a lot to do with it.
I think it does, because I was drinking, like Dad was like, I can't believe how much diet soda you're drinking, like, because it was like a lot. Like I didn't even realize it until because at work I would, have the break room now, which is like, it's been like a year now, but it was kind of new to me. And I'm like, oh, look, now I get a soda at the soda machine. Oh, this is cool. Then I was like, wait a minute, I got to save money. Let me just buy sodas. And then every day I throw 2 Coke Zeros in my lunchbox and stuff. So I knocked that out.
Yeah.
I knocked that out from Dad mentioning it. And the cool thing about this egg fast is diet soda is limited on it. So that's what I like, because it's just rules. So I finished my last eggs today, and I'm like, well, I'm done. There is no decision or should I, could I. I did everything the thing said. I'm doing exactly.
Yeah, I like the rules. I like the things where it's like, do this, cut off here. Yeah.
But then I think that's why I want to go 5. I think after coming out of this, it just makes you. I got something you'll like this story. It's So Penn, I listened to Penn Jillette was on a podcast with Kevin Smith. Like they actually did because they both have their own podcasts. So they did one where they were talking together. Now both of them have lost a lot of weight. Kevin Smith had a heart attack, so he lost a bunch of weight. And then Penn Jillette lost a bunch of weight just because he decided to. So they were kind of talking about each other's methods. And now this obviously isn't keto, but it's the same train of thought that I like. So Penn Jillette was like, yeah, I started the first step of the diet I was doing was I just ate potatoes for 3 days. He goes, I didn't eat anything else, or for a week or whatever it was. But he said the point was I didn't put salt, I didn't put butter, I didn't put anything to make them taste good. Just ate the potatoes. And what that was, it taught me what being hungry was like. It taught me that you're just eating it was just the habit part of it. It wasn't that whether carbs or whatever. It was just more like, just make food not an enjoyable thing. Make food just like, I can't remember the exact science to it or what the reasoning was.
I think I got you. Was it food is fuel?
Yeah, don't make it the indulgence. Let's just take all
the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's each there's another way to say it. Each meal doesn't have to be an event.
Yes.
That's something with me, me and you grew up with that.
Yeah. And a lot of people do.
And a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And that's how I remember vacations. It's like, oh, what year was that? Oh, that was the year with the barbecue place. That's how I always associate everything with meals. That's just how we are.
Yeah.
But once you get into, and I remember doing that. Like I just ate chicken and sweet potatoes and broccoli just every day for like 6 months or something. And it gets to the point to where you're looking, at lunch, you're looking forward to it and you eat it and then that's it.
Yeah.
And it almost takes stress off you. It's like, all right, where are we going for lunch? What am I going to get? Oh, I'm going to get this, or should I get this? Like, no, you just, it's not such a big deal anymore. Like I eat the same things over and over.
Because it wasn't even about like what I'm going to eat and everything. I was just like, because today I did a lot of stuff. Like I said, the podcast, I was doing some extra cleaning around the house. So it was more like, oh, better get my eggs in. And I got them. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like, oh, I got to eat this. Meanwhile, I still like it. I can handle it for 5 days. You know what I mean?
So now what kind of eggs did you do? What was your rotation?
Today was real simple because today was like, it was like the last minute. Today was like my first day off from work. So I didn't really have time to, like, I saw people in the YouTube video doing like, we got to talk about chaffles too later, but we were, I saw everybody doing all this stuff, and I saw all these recipes. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm making this harder than it is, like going in. Not that I say I won't play with that stuff, but I went straight up, boiled some eggs this morning while I made my omelet, and then had a cheese omelet this morning, counted that as a piece of cheese, then did, two hard boiled, made an egg salad for the other 2 meals. That was it.
Nice.
Like nothing crazy.
Yeah, I would always do a cheese omelet for one of them.
Yeah.
And then and I think I did deviled eggs, and then maybe I turned the deviled eggs into egg salad. You know what's a good one for keto? That's awesome.
What?
It's a French. You ever had a French omelet before?
No, I know I've heard of it, but I can't remember.
French omelet is not a whole lot in it. I don't even think there's anything in it. It's just butter, the 3 eggs, or 2 or 3 eggs, and salt, but you add an extra yolk to the omelet. I think it's maybe two whole eggs, and then the third one where it's just the yolk, and it gives it like a different texture to where it's almost like, they call it like a leather something, and you do it like real slow, which you wouldn't think for an omelet. And like it was even like I was using like a plastic fork because I'm like beating the eggs almost as it's going, and I use the plastic one so it wouldn't scratch up the pan. And then it just, when it rolls, it's like thicker because it's got so much more yolk in it than usual. Yeah,
gotcha.
It was 2 eggs and an additional yolk, because I remember like the percentage of yolk to egg was high. You know what I mean?
So it's probably
and
denser.
It comes out. Yeah, you go heavy with the butter, and you do like Kerrygold butter, like good butter, like you're putting in the coffee, hopefully.
No, I need to get that. You told me about it. I never did it, which will be cool because it'll make it a treat.
It makes it a treat, and especially with the egg fast, it makes it better. So just because it's delicious, like you'll get it, you'll be like, oh crap, now I wish I didn't find this. But Walmart is cheap, But it's one of those things. You're eating so much less, and you're eating out so much less.
Get the good stuff.
Spend the extra $1 on butter.
Yeah.
But so you put more. So it's a lot of butter in it, but it's also, and this is just a French omelet. Normally, this isn't even like the keto spin on it. So you cook it like you would normally with an omelet, but then like as you're rolling it and flipping it, you're like taking the chunk of butter that you had in the pan, and you're like painting the omelet with it.
You're basting it with the. Oh, nice.
Basting it. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. So it's just like it's a buttery. I was going to say cheesy, like you feel like there's cheese in it because of the texture, but there's not. And it's so good. You go heavy with the salt, heavy with the butter. It's awesome.
I tell you something. I do have a planned post egg fast that I'm going to fold into my my diet going forward. Because I did like I said, I like the idea of like having just instead of having like, because I had this thing where I was like, I have nuts and cheese. Why just have the cheese? Like the piece of cheese or the nuts.
Yeah, nuts is easy to overdo it. It's easy to lose count on nuts, dude.
I think so. Even like the portioning and weighing, because I think even though it's like the net carbs, I probably put myself over 20, or I'm just starting to, I think I lose myself with those. It's always something that gets me. I'm better off. I've actually thought about it too, because I was like, I better eat some, because they said one of the things about the egg fast was like, constipation because of like, you're not having any veggies or nothing. So I was like, you know what? Let me have, because I had some keto bread for when mom and dad were here, because like I know they're going to want burgers, so I'm going to get myself some keto buns and keto bread, because I was like, it's going to be a little whirlwind of a weekend, so I was going to be ready for anything, If we're making sandwiches, I have keto bread on me, which I avoided that for a while. But I was like, you know what? I made myself a burger yesterday with the keto bread, because like, let me put that 10 grams. I have that keto bread that's like 10 carbs, 10 grams of fiber. So it's like 0 net. But it was more about like, let me put the 10 grams of fiber in me before I start this party. I mean, and then I'll do it again after. But one of the things I was thinking was like, because I was like, thinking about different kinds of cheeses, but the wife was going out to the store, so I said, "Look, just get me this, get me this, give me eggs, and get me like some portion cheese that's like 1 ounce portions."
Right.
And I said, but I was thinking about it, provolone, like sharp provolone. Why haven't we been doing that? Like, because you and me are Italian.
Oh no, I do that. Yeah, not like I don't do like the sandwich one. That's what.
No, I'm talking about the mom and dad. Like it tastes like a block of Romano. Like
I get that all the time.
Because I'm thinking sharp
that, the Publix does the Asiago BOGO all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that really sharp, hard white cheese. That is an awesome. And you know what else is awesome with that? You do that with just like they do. You do that with the salami.
I was just saying that.
Like not like the sandwich meat salami. You get like the little rounds, like little bite-sized ones. They're like kind of thick.
I was going to say straight up supersod or sopressata for you white people out there. Yeah. Not Italians.
But that's like $15 a pound.
Oh, that's why we don't eat that.
Salami,
Never mind.
50 cents off.
Salami is.
Yeah, salami it is. But even there's some. Oh, you know who has it actually? Aldi. You shop at Aldi. Aldi,
yes.
you get they have a hard salami, and you'll know it when you see it. You'll think it's supersod, and you'll see it's salami, and you're like, oh, never mind. No, get it. It tastes like supersod. It's just
I'm getting
those salamis are even Walmart has them too.
Yeah,
those are super good. But I started getting ones in the bag where it's already cut up and everything. So it's like a Ziploc bag to where it closes real nice. I was like, no, you know what? I'm on keto. I don't get to eat chips. I don't, get to snack on things like everyone else does. So like, and that's another one of those things where you really go to town on it. But salami, like you eat too much of that, you'll mess your stomach up. So your body, you kind of know not to go overboard.
Yeah.
But that's one of those game changers. Those little salami packs or the little salami cheese wraps I sent you. They look like mozzarella cheese sticks with a piece of salami
like
around
the paninos and stuff. They even sell them in gas stations and stuff. But I was just thinking like a hard, like it's like the sharp cheese and the hard salami. So it's just like something that's like a little more, it's like richer and just tougher to chew. Just like you slow you down and make you savor the flavor for a minute.
Substantial.
Yes, you're not like eating more of it. So that's something I'm going to fold in there.
So I got some questions for you.
Yeah.
So that's a good that's like a game changer one. And every now and then, like I usually send them to you. I can't wait for the shows to do it. But you gave me a game changer was the pimento cheese. I never did. I mean, I've had it before, but I never bought a thing of pimento cheese and like ate off it for a while. And I have been loving it. I did a grilled cheese sandwich with it, and it was so good. And I got the jalapeno one, and I don't like spicy food. And it's just hot enough to where I can take it. But like, I think I cut my grilled cheese sandwich. I said, all right, let me throw one piece of American cheese in there and then a scoop of that. It was the best grilled cheese ever on keto bread, obviously, but butter all over it. Oh, and I put bacon in it. It was ridiculous.
Oh.
And then I put it on a cheeseburger, and you get, these little things you find. It's game changers. You know what I mean?
Well, also the fat content of it. It's like, if you need to make your numbers good, instead of taking like a mouthful of mayonnaise, you could do the pimento cheese, and it's not so rich and gross. You know what I mean? It tastes like, I could do this. Yeah.
Or sometimes like because I'll always grab a piece of cheese. Every time you go in the fridge, you're looking for something, you give up, and then you grab a piece of cheese.
Yeah,
it's nice to instead like, you know what? Let me grab a couple bites of the pimento cheese, and the jalapeno is actually good for it because I can only take like 3 bites, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty hot.
Yeah,
and I got to stop. So it kind of paces you.
Yeah, makes
like
you not clear out the container.
Yeah. So have you found any? So what are some things in some standards in your rotation? Like, do you have like a rotation going? Like if nothing else, I got this.
I think that's where I kind of got a little lost because I was looking at too many things. I was like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Eggs are always a good go-to, even though I'm sure gonna want to switch it out after that. Doing the salads, doing the dressings, those are all good. Oh, here's one I like. I'll tell you. So I got those frozen. Because what I did was I got the shakes, which we never even talked about the shakes and stuff. So, because sometimes instead of like, me coming home, I came home at 6 and maybe I'm playing this or that, or sometimes for time management. Not that I always wanted to look around and try to plan the meal or whatever, because I have done a thing where I made something like those pizza stuffed zucchini. I made them and I made like way too much. I didn't realize the serving size. I'm like, oh, and these are like a lot bigger to eat than I thought. So I just portioned them, put them in the freezer. And then I knew that was something I could take out. I had it like put into my Fitness Pal and knew the exact numbers. Awesome. But then on the other end of that, it was like I got myself some frozen breakfast sandwiches and some frozen and some of the shakes. That way I know if I'm in a jam, I could throw this and this in my bag and I'm good. But the breakfast sandwiches are those real good ones with the cauliflower bread, okay?
Like the real good, like the brand, real good.
Yeah, the real good, yes. And it's like, it was something like, they're kind of higher, so I'm probably going to run through those and be done with those. They're like 6 net carbs or maybe 8 at the most. Nah, I think it's like 6-ish, okay? But the thing is, like, as far as the keto numbers, I was like, they're right there, okay? Like, they're good. Right. They're like the 75 or 7, but it's right there. And I'm like, I need a little something to put it over, like make it better. And I take those guacamole packets that you got me into, because that's the other thing. That I don't know, have you ever tried those, Bob?
The breakfast sandwiches? Yeah, I tried them one time.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, okay, it's okay, but I'm not going to buy it again.
Yeah, well,
I think that's where I was at with it. Well,
first I did them with the bacon, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, because I was thinking like calorie-wise, and I was like steering towards low carb before I got into keto. But then I looked again, I'm like, wait a minute, now I don't care about calories. I'm going to do the sausage ones, because it's not turkey sausage, it's or straight up sausage. But that bread is still a little rough. So what I did was, because I wanted to put myself over, and it actually changed everything, was the guacamole packet. So I spread that on both sides of the cauliflower bread, like, I mean, both ends of it, and it turns it into some like totally new sandwich. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I was like, that's a good one. So I do for at work, I was doing that, and I was doing a shake for one meal. But I still think even like the net carbs, I got to bring it down just to give me that little error room. You know what I mean? Because I think it's the mentality of what can you get away with. Oh, here's another one for you. I did a lot of research. Wings is a funny one. Wings is funny because I was like,
wings like protein too high.
No, just you never know where the carbs are hidden. Like some of you, like I went to like Outback. Outback is a good amount. I can't remember exactly, but it's like above 10 because they're actually rolled in some kind of like seasoned flour. You know what I'm saying? Or there is a coating on them. So like even like one wing place, it's like you see their mild is 2 carbs, their hot is 1 carb, but all of a sudden their mild or their medium is like 6 carbs. You're like, why is that? And there's whatever the reason is, it's like, oh, wait, you gotta, like, you really can't just go someplace and go like, oh, I'm getting the wings, I'm good to go. You have to like, plan ahead.
Yep. I avoid, if they don't have it, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
If they don't have it to where I can see it, not trust them like they're lying. But even, so it's so funny that you bring this up. I go out I go to a restaurant with the guys from work. After work one day, we all met up at Yard House. You would love this place. It's called Yard House because it has yard tall beers.
I've been there. I know what Yard House is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got all the draft beers or whatever.
Yeah.
So we go there and I looking at the menu and I see they have wings. So I'm like, okay, and they had the nutrition. So I seen it was like, I think it was 7 carbs for me. I'm like, oh, it's a little high, but it's whatever. I'll get them. I just wanted wings.
Yeah.
So I get there and they serve them and they're full on breaded wings. And I'm like, I'm looking at them like, I can't eat them. Like, well, it wasn't even like, okay, well, just treat yourself and have a cheat meal. I didn't want them because I don't like breaded chicken wings. And why am I going to cheat and eat chicken wings, which I eat every other day anyway? Like if I'm going to cheat, I'm going to get pizza or pasta or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or bread or something like, you know what I mean? Of all the things, that's the last cheat I'm going to do. So I asked the girl and everything. The manager came over and I wasn't like manager didn't come over. She said, I asked him because I told her, I says, listen, I don't care. I says, but does this come different ways? But it said it was 7 carbs. So I don't understand how that's possible. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
And they says, no, they says we stick, or she went and asked the manager. She's like, no, she says we're using like what they say to use. And it's like up to date and everything. But now I'm thinking about it, 7 carbs, that's high for wings. Maybe breaded wings just really would only be 7 carbs. Yeah, but that's it. Because Chick-fil-A, there, you get an original chicken sandwich without the bun. It's a breaded chicken sandwich. It's still only 7 carbs. So you could full on go get one of those and be keto. It's like, oh, I can't eat it because it's breaded. It's like, it's only breaded on the outside. It's less. I'm answering myself here. I bet it was something like 7 carbs per serving, and maybe they think it's like 2 to 3 servings for wings or something.
I think you're right, because I think when I worked at the Italian place, I think I remember looking up the chicken parm, and like one piece of chicken parm, I think it was like 10-ish or something with the carbs. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like I was trying to be light. It was somewhere between 10 and 15. Like I was surprised how light it was now that I think about it. You know what I mean?
Marsala, right?
No, I'm talking about chicken.
Marsala on keto. Was it
I'm talking about chicken parm. Chicken parm was, I'm saying, it was surprisingly not as much carbs as I thought it would be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of it was.
Marsala is the same way.
Yeah.
It's only like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And,
Marsala is grilled.
Like, okay, I can get. Oh, that's why it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did the grilled one. And what am I? Oh, no, even the veal marsala wasn't that much.
Yeah. Oh, and that was with flour.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know some things because it's still, if you're only having one piece. Oh, here's a go-to that you need is taco meat.
Oh.
Like taco salads, and you could do so many variations. Every time I have a taco salad, it's completely different. Like I put pimento cheese in my last taco salad. It's freaking delicious.
So my wife makes tacos one day. I'm so glad you told me this. This is like the best thing I ever ate. It was like, she makes tacos one day, and she made a shitload of tacos for some reason. She made like 2 pounds of meat or something. Like it was either on sale or something.
It's something about making taco meat. You just make a bunch. I don't know why.
Yeah, and it was just like, which was fine. But I'm like, it was like there the next day. So I'm like, well, I can't. It was like it's some to a point where it was like, well, we got taco meat. I was like, well, what? No, it was just on his 3rd day. That's what it was. So I'd be like, well, there's still taco meat. I'm like, let me think of something I could do with this taco meat. I freaking went and got poblanos. Okay. And I think it was like about a pound. I think it was like about a pound of taco meat left. I think that sounds about right for the ratio. But I straight up got a brick of cream cheese, and mixed that up with the taco meat. So it was like, like Play-Doh. Like I'm mashing it with, the spoon and stirring it and mashing it and stirring it. And I threw in some shredded cheese, but I was still measuring it just for calories thing, because I put the recipe in my FitnessPal because I was like, I want to know what each pepper is. So I'm going to make this pound of meat, pack of cream cheese, 1/4 cup of shredded cheese, I think, divvy it up into this many peppers, do the math. And so I know this pepper is this. Like I put it into my FitnessPal. But yeah, it was so it was a cream cheese, and then I put more of the shredded cheese on top. Oh, and I found some that taco sauce, like that enchilada kind of taco sauce. So I put a little drizzle down on top. They were so good that I ate one cold later. Like I just pulled it out of the fridge.
They're better cold.
Yeah,
they're better cold because they stay together. Yeah, yeah. Publix has the jalapeno poppers where they're already like made, because they're a pain in the neck to make.
The bacon wrapped ones,
jalapeno poppers. Yeah, you basically made poblano jalapeno poppers, like with taco meat, which is awesome.
Yeah,
but but you can get the poblanos is a good idea, because then you're not making so many. It's not such a pain in the butt.
Yeah, because it was. I think it came out to like 6. I think I got maybe 6 or 8. That I cut 4 in half, and it became 8 or half peppers or something. But it was yeah, that was good. And that was like something like, if I had, because I was thinking like, man, which I still might, is just make them again and freeze them for lunches. I think that's a good idea. Instead of getting like frozen stuff or the processed stuff, get it's like they say, like the quality stuff. Just make something and then freeze it, because I could eat something.
You have to find some go-tos like that. Yeah. And every now and then you find one and you're like, this is a game changer. Now I can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You find that one thing where you're like, wow, this was so good. Like if I could eat this 5 days a week if I had to. And you only need a few of those to really get by. Like restaurants are like that. Like we had the Jimmy John's by the office.
Yeah.
And the turkey bacon And turkey isn't your first choice when it comes to keto, but I just love the turkey bacon sub. I got it by accident one time there, but I usually get like Italians, but for whatever reason I got it, and it's like my favorite sub in the world now. But I get that with where they just do the unwich, where it's like just a sub, but it's just wrapped in lettuce, and I'd be dipping it in mayo. I was like, all right, if every other, if I want to go out to lunch, I could walk over here. I don't have to pack a lunch. I know I could just go get that if I really had to. You know what I mean? And it just takes a few good things like that.
Yeah, because those like I got those zucchini pizzas I told you about. Those I made. They were kind of like in a cookbook I got. That was like a keto cookbook. So
yeah,
those zucchini pizzas, those were good, and I would I froze them because I made too much, but I took them to work. I ate them the rest of the week. I wasn't like, oh, I'm sick of this. And then like those taco things, like those are two totally different things. The stuff poblanos. So it's like if I just, that's something, that's just something like a lesson I'm figuring out. Because instead of trying to like make this process stuff work, like how do I make that, the cauliflower bread be okay or something. If I just do the meal prep, and then I could just keep them in the freezer. Because the cool thing about keeping them in the freezer is, suppose somebody makes something or we have something and there's some leftover. Well, I'll take that to work and leave the freezer stuff in the freezer. You know what I'm saying? It would be just nice to have that go-to and grab for those times I just want to throw something in my lunch bag.
Well, it's go-tos, and it's not just like, okay, because you can grab it, but go-tos like something that you truly enjoy. You know what I mean? For me, it's the sausage, egg, and cheese combo, and you were doing it on that crappy bread. I just do it on the plate. Just make two of them instead of one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, my wife actually started making eggs. With the sausage.
Yeah. Did you try doing one of those egg rounds like I showed you?
I've done it with the coffee cup and stuff. I've done it like on an English muffin, not like in the keto thing, but I've done that. You're talking about like when you scramble the egg in the cup and it comes out like a perfect McDonald's thing?
No, but you don't scramble it. You just break the yolk, but you got to get it. It's not just like in a mug because you don't want it round. You want it flat and round. Like is that a sphere? Is that spherical? It's like that. There's like this, like as if you sliced a sphere. But an egg round, just like where like it's a round disc.
Yeah.
But you got to get a bowl or a cup or a mug to where it's like flat on the bottom for it to accomplish that. You know what I mean?
I've done it, but I didn't do the fried egg. I did it with like a scrambled one. But I know what you're saying. Just kind of So you would spray it good
because they keep well and they're individual. Because I was doing it and I was like, well, I could just do scrambled eggs and put it on top, which sometimes is better, but it's a different thing. But with the egg rounds, what's cool is, and I gotta figure out how to make a bunch at the same time because like instead I'm sitting in front of the microwave for 10 minutes making them because the sausage goes in the microwave too. But when you do the egg rounds, you could throw them in a Tupperware in the fridge and it's just like, all right, grab a piece of sausage, grab a piece of cheese, grab one of those and put them together. That was one of my favorites.
That's another thing about like this. Because I was doing the intermittent fasting, I was saying like try to eat later. I think I still like the idea of try to eat earlier because I would rather just have like the eggs and the breakfast and do the sausage. And you get so many different kinds of sausages too. Like kielbasa. I need to start doing that. I need to start like making bratwursts and Italian sausages and just you keep growing those. And my kid likes those too.
Yeah, what's cool about sausage too is every place is different. Like, especially like bratwurst.
Yeah,
you get bratwurst at Aldi versus bratwurst at Publix versus bratwurst anywhere. Even the store brands, they all taste completely different. You know? It's like a different animal.
You know what a Scotch egg is?
Yes.
Okay, hard-boiled egg.
Oh, you're gonna do a keto sausage.
Yeah, because hard-boiled egg.
I've never had one of those.
They're so good. Hard-boiled egg. Steve loves them. That was like our thing. We make the jokes about the Scotch eggs all the time, but it's hard-boiled egg, and you got to do flour. Then you wrap it in sausage because if you don't have the flour, the sausage won't stick to the egg. I know because I started making them myself at the Italian place just to make a makeshift one, even though it's not traditional. I was trying to do it, and then you put the egg and then the breadcrumbs. So same thing, but almond flour. Because I've read about that. I haven't messed with it yet, but it's worth me trying to make this happen. And what I do have in the pantry is I haven't touched yet. I just got them on a whim, but I have pork rind breadcrumbs, like already ground.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's like
Very cool.
So, and besides all that, the high fat content, because you're using sausage and stuff, that's the part. I used to try to bake them. That's gonna be the hard part, figuring out how to bake them. So I'm gonna experiment with that. I'll come back on my findings. Let you know if I pull it off. I might have to do a variation, like do it like on a muffin pan or something. But I'm gonna mess with that. Hey guys, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys in a couple days. Obi-Wan's coming. That's probably how we're gonna finish out the season. So we'll talk to you then.